This is Transporters96 here with another review. This time it is an Avengers Age of Ultron review. It's actually my first one. And we have the Hulk and Hulkbuster figure pack that are in the 2-inch style scale. This is the new line that is replacing the 3 3/4 inch line for Marvel, it seems, which is very unfortunate because I was quite a fan of the 3 3/4 inch line. So it is a shame to see these little ones being taken its place. So yeah. So this was a set that I did not plan to get. I didn't want any of these 2-inch figures because I did kind of get a little caught up with them in the Guardians of the Galaxy line, and I didn't want to do that again. When I saw this in person, though, it was definitely much different than I was expecting, and therefore I decided to make the purchase. What I like about this compared to like the Guardians of the Galaxy line is that there's not much fluff in the in what you get. You get 2 figures, and that's it. You don't get a bunch of different stupid accessories that shoot or have some color to them. You just get your figures, and that's it. And I do appreciate that. I would much prefer that than the extra unnecessary items that you get with some of the other figures. So yeah, so going over the actual sculpts of these figures, and this was something that I felt the same way with the Guardians line, is that the sculpts on these guys are nice. And it's a bit of a shame because it's unfortunate to see what these could have been if they were larger. But as you can see, this face sculpt, and this is a small face sculpt, it is nice. They've actually sculpted it really well. I mean, I have no problems with this face sculpt. It looks completely like Hulk, which I really love. The whole muscular body is actually really nice. They did a wonderful job. The pants look good and have lines in it, and then the toes are very defined. Everything looks nice, and this is a small little figure. They did a wonderful job sculpting this guy, which is quite impressive for something so small. Paint-wise, it is a little lacking. There should be some red detail in the pants, which is not shown, although there is the sculpted line, so if you wanted to, you could paint it red yourself, because they did give you like an outline of where the red should be. As well as, I wish that there was some shading in the body. I don't think there's any shading in the body. It's hard to tell, though, because with the light shining on it, there might be actually a little bit, but I don't think there is, so I would have preferred some green shading in the body. And then I would have liked the eyes to be a little bit more defined. They're very dark and hard to see. Nonetheless, though, the sculpt on this guy is really nice. Now, he isn't just standing straight up and down, which I kind of like. He is at where one foot's out, one foot's kind of back, which I do like. It's a little hard to stabilize him sometimes, but he can stand up if you mess around with him. He has a ball-jointed head, so he can look side to side really well. He can also look down and up just a tad bit, not much though. He has swivel shoulders and swivel hips. So paint work on these guys, they're okay. Sculpt is great, and then the articulation sucks. Going over, of course, the more interesting one, if I can get Hulk to stand. We have the Hulkbuster, though, and this is the first Hulkbuster toy released, first one I've seen at least. I think that the sculpt on this guy is awesome. He looks really nice. They've sculpted all the little details, the little latches and lines throughout it, which look really good. Even the fingers. There's a lot of detailing on these little guys. I must say, they got the back, arc reactors and the whole bit, which is awesome. I love the bulky legs. They just look so sick. Very nice. Again, same problem as Hulk, though. Sculpt is great. Paint is rather lacking. You've got a nice red, and you've got some great gold and silver. The only problem is it's lacking on the gold and silver paint. There should be some more gold, in these latches, and then I would have liked to see some white paint in the arc reactors, on the back, legs, and arms, and everything like that, as well as there should be more gold and silver highlights throughout it on some of these panelings, which there isn't, unfortunately. And then articulation is incredibly bad on this guy. He just has swivel arms, and that's it. He does have a bit of a gimmick. It's obviously a gimmick that isn't noticeable when you don't have it open, so I like that. You can just have him normal and he doesn't look crazy, but he does have this gimmick where you can open it up and fit a figure in there. Inside, the detail is actually really nice. There's a ton of detailing work in the actual body, which is just really cool. You are supposed to fit like the Mark 43 in there. I'm not even sure if the Mark 43 is out yet, but nonetheless, I don't have it and I don't plan to get it. So you can fit just your average figure, like Star-Lord. I'm trying to get his arms in a good position. There we go. And then you can fit them in there. As you can see, it's great. It actually is really nicely in scale. You can close it up and then, the kid can, fight with the little guy inside of him. Really neat. And just to show the actual size, as you can see, he is really big, and he is probably in scale, which is really cool. And I think that he's in scale with Hulk, too. Which is kind of impressive. I'm glad to see that. Just showing you the size of these guys in general, here is the 3 3/4 inch Hulk. As you can see, comparing it to the 2-inch version, there is quite a dramatic change in these two lines size-wise. But when you just compare the Hulk itself, he is really big. He's as big as a 3 3/4 inch figure. The only problem is he should be larger than a 3 3/4 inch figure to even be in the 3 3/4 inch scale. So that is, of course, the issue there. Overall, the sculpt on these guys, and I say the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxy, is really good. It's got a nice sculpt to it, and there's a ton of detail in the actual figure. The paint is a little lacking. I mean, it's okay. It holds up and it's fine, but there definitely is always room for more detailing with the paint, and they leave it a little bit more plain. And then the articulation is terrible, of course. So it is a shame to see that they've done such a good job sculpting it, but they've just missed the mark on the other two categories, and it makes it even sadder to know that we could have, got a really nice 3 3/4 inch line, but instead we get a subpar 2-inch line, which is unfortunate. So there you go. I would recommend this for anybody who wants a representation of these characters in the collection, and who isn't willing to pay, like large amounts of money for the statues or the Hot Toys one, or things like that. Possibly they'll do Hulkbuster in the Marvel Legends line, or Marvel Legends line as like a Build-A-Figure. I don't know that yet, though. They haven't said anything about that yet, though, so we'll have to wait and see. As for now, they're really nice display pieces. This is the only figures that I'm going to get for the 2-inch line, I believe, so just, these are nice little guys. They're for $10, they're a pretty fair price, I must admit, but would have much rather had a 3 3/4 inch style of line rather than this 2-inch one. So there you go. That's my review of the Avengers Age of Ultron 2-inch figures, Hulk and the Hulkbuster. Thanks so much for watching.